Well, hello, my lords and ladies. Welcome to our next episode that I've been putting off forever of our Descent, Betrayer's War Act 2. Pretty easy on this one. First off, I want to thank all my YouTube members for all of your amazing contributions and supporting this channel. You guys are awesome. This one's pretty easy. Nothing crazy. Same as always. Just give you some ideas. You don't have to do this, but it is pretty simple. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, hit that like button, leave me a comment. Without further ado, let's go. Alright, obviously the first thing you're going to do is you're going to scrape all the mold lines off of your miniature. There's a good one I found on the hand after I painted it, so yeah, make sure you do that. And then on the side of the base. Then I'm spray painting it all in white, and the first thing we're doing is using Iron Jaws Yellow on all of the yellow portions of the robe. This makes it pretty easy. The white's going to stick through, gives you a natural highlight. Super easy, super awesome. Next, we are going to take some Aggaros Dunes, and we're going to put this all over our shoes area. You want to get a good dollop of this, and then put it onto the shoes. It gets into the crevices and the cracks, and it makes it look very depth heavy. Gives that nice little contrast with the white as well. For our Wizard Quarterstaff on Syrus the Virus, for all of our Con Air fans out there, we're going to be doing this with some Wyldwood, with that white sticking out, which is perfect. And for the wand, well, Cygor Brown for all the Harry Potter fans. For the belt on Syrus, we're going to be doing a little bit of skeleton horde. Make sure you get in between the rings on the belt. Don't worry about painting them. We're going to go over with gold here in a little bit. For the little bracelet, some Aethermatic Blue. I don't know why this shot got all messed up. The light on this thing was... I don't know why. I think it's just this shot. Maybe the next shot too. Whatever. Some Black Templar. Make sure you do the top of the hair, the beard, the mustache, and around the ears as well. Keeping with the speed paints, we're going to use some Basilicanum Grey on all of our rocks. Just be careful where you're painting because there are leaves and then there's roots and flowers, so take your time on this. For all of the vines, now you could do green on this if you wanted to, but I wanted some contrast because I'm going to make the flowers very bright. You don't need to do that. You could do green vines if you wanted, but I'm using Garaghak's sewer on these to make them more look like tree roots. So whatever you would like to do, there's no wrong way to do this. That'll all look good in the end. To make our leaves look a little bit of like a jungle, or jungly, if that's even a word, probably not. We're going to use some Mantis Warriors Green. Now I went with some very vibrant colors for the flowers. The first one being a little Doomfire Magenta. You can make them whatever color you want. I'm just doing very vibrant colors. I didn't go with any yellows because there's a main yellow focus that we're looking for, so I'm making some contrast colors. The next one I'm going to do in Magmadroth Flame. Again, another brighter orange color. You don't need to do these. These are just... I had like a vision for like a jungle setting, even though I don't know if this game's in the jungle. We beat the first one. Haven't played the second one yet, so I'm not exactly sure. And the last one, I'm using Luxion Purple. Again, you don't need to do this, but I think it looked good with these three colors coming out, very vibrant. Alright, now we are kind of done with the speed paints, but keep them out, just in case. With the pants, our MC Hammer pants, as I like to call them, a little Karak Stone. I'm probably dating myself a lot right there. It's okay, though. You know, age is just a number. For the undershirt, I'm going to use a little gray Seer. Now the arm, just the right arm, is with the gray Seer. The undershirt as well, near the belly, and on top, near the shoulders as well. Now for the glove, I'm going to do all in Steel Legion Drab. Now if you notice from the card art or from the app art, I guess you would say, because they don't give you any cards, except for the original, there's some brown in there. We're going to put some brown in there here in a minute. Now for Syrus's skin, we're going to use a little Knight-Questor Flesh. So we want to put this on, obviously, the ears, the mouth, nose, forehead, cheekbones, the normal stuff, hand, the left hand only, and the left arm by the bracelet as well. This will probably take about 2 to 3 coats once you let it dry. You don't really want the white sticking through that much. It makes it look very awkward. So get a nice hefty dose of this paint on there, thin it, and then put layers on it to make it look smooth. And like I was mentioning before, we're going to do some Mournfang Brown on certain sections of the giant handguard Syrus has. I don't know what that is, but yeah, you know what I mean. And then finally, our last base paint color. Syrus has got a amulet around his neck, and then the belt loops as well. We're going to take some Retributor Armor, and we're going to paint all over that. Now, before we move to the next step, make sure all your base paints, all your speed paints are dry, and then we can put our washes on there. Alright, the first color we're going to do is some Reikland Fleshshade on the flesh areas. You can also do Agrax Earthshade as well, since we're doing a dark skin tone. You don't need to do this color, but I went with it anyway. I've used both in the past, and I feel like Agrax works good in some circumstances, and then other times it really doesn't. It's just hard to say. For our pants, we are going to put some Agrax Earthshade. We're also going to put this on the gold amulet area and the handguard for Syrus. You don't need to put this on the quarterstaff. You don't need to put this on the one. And you don't really need it anywhere else. So just those areas. For our undershirt for the Gray Seer, just some Nulin Oil. Pretty easy. And finally, on our yellow robe, we're going to do some Casadora Yellow. Okay, After all of your washes are completely dry, not partially dry, not 90% dry, all dry, completely dry, we're going to put our rebasing of Knight-Questor's Flesh. Now we're working on cheekbones, nose, mouth, ears, forehead, and then the hands and the arm as well. Once you are satisfied with the reapplication of your base paint, we are going to do a 50-50 mix of Cadian Fleshtone and Knight-Questor's Flesh. Now we're really going to focus on the forehead, the bridge of the nose, the nostrils, the cheekbones, the mouth, the fingers, and then just adding a little bit on the forearm to give it that nice contrast. I did 2 or 3 coats on that, and then I went straight to some Cadian Fleshtone. Now you don't want to overdo the Cadian Fleshtone, so make sure it's very thin, and then I'm just doing like the bridge of the nose, the nostrils, the tips of the ears, a little bit on the forehead, knuckles, a little bit on the hands, and then just a little bit on the forearm area as well. For our shirt, we are going to just do an reapplication of Grey Seer. If you want to do some like Administratum Grey, Dawnstone to change the coloring up a little bit, you can. I just feel like it looks better if you just do the raised areas in the original tone that you did, which in this case was Grey Seer. To give Syrus a little bit of age, you don't need to. We're going to use some Dawnstone. Moving on to the pants here, we are going to do a reapplication of our Karak Stone. Now I'm really focusing on the areas that are raised, and the recesses that have the dark spots I'm not messing with at all. This takes about 2 to 3 layers. Make sure your paint is thin, and try not to go crazy on it. Obviously you want to do a reapplication. It's going to look very weird at first, but trust the process and just get that paint on there. Once you are satisfied with your first layer, we're going to do a 50-50 mix of Screaming Skull and Karak Stone, and we're going to do the same exact thing. We're really going to focus on the raised areas, the knees especially, because those are kind of focal points, and the areas that are raised coming down from the belt. Finally, we're going to take a pure Screaming Skull, very thinned, and again, we're going to work on those raised areas, nothing insane, and the knees as well. The knees are the very big focal point. There's some good spots on the back as well that are very raised with the recesses. Looks pretty good in the end. Next, as we are coming down to the wire here, we're just going to put a reapplication of Mournfang Brown on those brown areas on our hand gauntlet or glove or whatever it is, followed by a reapplication of Steel Legion Drab on the same area, just not the darker brown, obviously. Next, just to brighten up the gold spots, we're going to use some Liberator Gold on that, just to brighten them up just a wee bit. And finally, your favorite part of painting this miniature, because it means you're done, is the rim of the base. I'm doing all black, per usual, because I'm basic, but you can do whatever you want. And that's it. Like I said, nothing too crazy, and it turns out pretty good. Definitely good enough to get on the table and be like, oh, your friend's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Wow, you're such a great painter. Like, wow, so good. Yeah, so yeah, there's that. Well, thank you for watching. If you're a member, I can't thank you guys enough. I say it all the time, and I really mean it. Subscribe to the channel. If you have any suggestions or anything you want to see painted, please let me know, or else I just go off a whim and just paint whenever I want. So keep me on track with something, you know what I mean? Alright, I love you all. I'll see you on the next one. Paint on.